Could talk about our vegetarian journey.
I think it's one that's very interesting, very unique,
Yeah.
but there's a little something to it. I became a vegetarian intentionally
Yeah.
at the age of 8.
Still young.
I had no idea that was even a term.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what a vegetarian was. Maybe I was a naive 8-year-old. But for me, that's when I started eating only plants, only vegetables. All right. So when I was 8, my parents, of course, they used to raise animals, chickens, goats, cows, the whole works. And they pointed on this pig
Yeah.
and they said, "This is yours." So
You have your own pig.
So I meant this. I thought, this is my pet.
Okay.
Of course, that pig got a lot more attention
Than the others.
A special kind of love. You would get more feeding.
Yeah.
I did take care of it. And then I remember this was a family event. I don't remember what it was. And this particular aunt walked up to me with a foil paper in her hand and she said, "Oh, this is your pig." I kid you not. And I was
As in your pet.
my pet.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh
was
my
fully
god.
traumatized. And in my mind, I'm like, why does she feel the need to volunteer this information? Like, I did not ask you. I had a rabbit, had him for a while, and then he went missing.
Oh my god.
And again, I was traumatized. I also had
Another pet. Can you tell me what this one? I think it was a goat.
yeah,
Goat, yes, a pet goat.
had a pet goat.
Yeah. The pet rabbit was the most common one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his name was Lasco. I only gave it Lasco to drink. Yeah, so I had a baby bottle,
Yeah.
what we call a nipple bottle, and I would feed it only Lasco. But I was so surprised when it died. Like, why?
Malnutrition, maybe. Yeah.
That's where some vegans come from. Not from a health perspective, but because they think eating meat is animal cruelty.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Right? So as a little child, for me, I just felt like that was a lot going on. And also, I realized that eating meat, I think this was before though, I realized that eating meat, my stomach was always, it would get upset.
Yeah.
Right? So I was always a bit, finicky when it comes to meat. Started to only eat vegetables like cabbage, callaloo, pak choy. That was it for my diet. The only seafood I had was salt fish. I've never had tuna. I've never had mackerel. What else comes in tin?
Sardines.
I've never had those. So it was literally just salt fish, salmon.
Yeah.
I've never had that. First of all, I didn't even know what salmon was. So I only had those, right? And later on, I got baptized.
Yay.
Transition for me was a bit smooth. When I say transition, being smooth. In the Seventh-day Adventist Church, there's this concept, I'll just say concept, known as a health reform. And this is where, literally, as simply as you can put it, this is where whatever you eat, whatever you read, everything that concerns your health, how it impacts your
holistic lifestyle,
how you worship, how the connection between mind
body
and spirit, definitely. So in Leviticus 11, this is where God outlines all the meat that are categorized as clean and unclean. There are some that we should definitely not eat, and there are some that we have the opportunity to.
Yeah, so as you can hear, there's a lot of breeze here. We're on the roof right now. What do you call it?
Country living.
Yes.
Being in the country, I'm from Portland, the best parish, of course. And my family, they were not Adventists, so they have no idea about other foods that you can eat as a vegetarian. So like I said, it was just pak choy, cabbage, callaloo, salt fish, maybe baked beans and the other stuff, soup and stuff like that, neutral stuff. So I was just used to these things. When I went to church, of course, I got to try quinoa. I think maybe tofu and maybe a little chunks. Of course, I did not like the chunks. To me, it was not properly done. I don't remember who cooked it, so no judgment. So fast forward a couple years when I went to university, I realized, of course, that there's so
much more
things, different peas and beans and all of that. And I started tasting them as well, which was really good. But some of them did not taste like how they were. Well, I didn't know how they were supposed to taste. But they didn't taste as something that was palatable. Right?
So bland.
It was bland. The first time I had tofu, it was like a big piece of mushy, salty slab. It was just a slab of something, right? And I was like, what is this? And I purposed in my heart that I need to figure these things out. And I need to cook these things for myself and make them palatable.
You did figure it out for sure.
Thank you, baby. Right, so I did set out to cook these things as best as I can. I didn't like chunks any at all until you cooked it for me. It was really good.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's basically my journey, and I've been a vegetarian kind of ever since. I've had meat, of course, only chicken. I've not had beef except for this one incident. So that was basically my journey. You can share about your journey.
Well, my journey
is short.
Well, I wouldn't say short.
Okay.
But mine was from birth. So I grew up as a vegetarian. So I've been a vegetarian for all of my life.
Yes.
For all of my life. I grew up, and the home I was in, we were used to, like the tofu and the beans and the grains and stuff, the steamed veg. Grew up, and I think it was when I was around 12, maybe, when I first had meat. And that was just a taste of it. I think maybe it's when I started going to high school. It's when I first had meat. I didn't really delve into it fully, but I still knew at that point that the vegetarian diet was was best. It was best.
All right. Normally, I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
So I became a vegetarian at 8. But when you said from birth, I'm like, fine, he wins.
Yeah.
Not that it's a competition. One advantage of being a vegetarian.
Well,
for you.
Yeah, for me, I'm not sure why it has. I wouldn't say be difficult for me to stick to it, but one thing I've realized since I started, touching in meat, was that I started getting a little bit, I had an illness here, illness there, while growing up until I was like 15 or probably even 17. I never used to get sick. Like
ever?
Hardly ever. Like maybe I would get a little flu like every once in a while, like every 2 years or so. But it would just come and just go. I would never have any sort of ailments, I would never be asthmatic. I would never be, would never get tired a lot. There was never any illness. I never knew illness. I never had to go to the doctor, first of all. I've never been admitted to a doctor before. What happened the other day that I had to go to the doctor?
I think that one was it gastro?
Was it gastro? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but you're getting sicker now.
Yeah, I'm getting sicker now. And I even had to go and, get nebulized at the doctor the other day. And those things would never happen, Probably I'd grow up and maybe I would, have a little tightness of the chest and, I would just get a little, menthol or so inside of those vapor stuff. But nothing to get excited about. But now, I think I'm getting a little bit more sick more frequently than I used to when I was strictly a vegetarian.
So one disadvantage for me, I believe, a lot of people don't know how to properly prepare vegetarian food, or when they do, it's not prepared properly. So a lot of people shy away. They think it's rocket science. It's not. They think it's supposed to be prepared different from regular food. Quote unquote regular food.
That's one of the great misconceptions.
Exactly. So they try to do other things with it, and it usually just ends up being salty mush. right? Because I do have meat sometimes because I'm very realistic in terms of if I go somewhere and the vegetarian food that they have is not palatable, I'm not going to have it. I'm not gonna have it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have a piece of chicken. Or I have some fruits.
Yeah.
Or maybe if the vegetable is, good, I'll have that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big problems with the vegetarian lifestyle. Most people don't go into it because they think that the food don't taste good. And it's because a lot of people don't know how to prepare it.
I know when I have meat. My body knows.
Yeah.
You know my body knows,
Yeah.
right? I'll go for weeks eating my vegetarian food.
Yeah.
And I'll have meat one day.
Mhm.
And going to the bathroom, the process is very excruciating, and I can say, yes, I've had meat, right? So definitely, this is our little journey.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to be consistent. And also, it is not, I'll just put this in, it is not as expensive as people make it seem.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just that it takes you out of your comfort zone, right? Because you have to be creative as a vegetarian. You have to be creative.
Yeah.
You have to learn new recipes. For me, it is fun.
Thank God for my wife. I think that's one of my struggles when I was going to university. I didn't always have the time to cook, so I wasn't always, able to cook the vegetarian meals. So you just buy what is there, and 9 times out of 10, there is no vegetarian meal to buy. Now, that I'm working, my wife would prepare food for me, and if on some occasion, I'm not able to carry food to work, all that is there is meat again. So I was kind of forced into that lifestyle. But I try to still see if I can stay away from it whenever possible, and just stick to the vegetarian lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah. Those of you who are vegetarians can share your story with us, or you can share how your transition has been.
So guys, if you liked our video, liked our content, we just ask that you just hit the like button and just subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you can keep up to date with our new videos. Peace. Bye.